Hi, it's the next day of the Yarn Festival. Let's do a little festival haul. Just to do a bit of a debrief of yesterday, I went with my two knitting group friends from my college knit night, and we were all very excited to go to the Yarn Festival, and we got driven there by my partner, who was very kind of him to offer to drive us because I don't have a driving license. The other girl also doesn't have a license. Can't remember if the third person doesn't have a license either. Anyway, it would have been a 2.5 hour train ride to Norwich, or what ended up being an hour and just a bit over drive to Norwich from Cambridge by car. Very exciting stuff. I've been to the Yarn Festival last year and I didn't make a video about it because I didn't have a channel back then. But I hope you enjoy all the goodie stuff that I got here. So I was actually officially at the Yarn Festival as an official podcaster, and official podcasters were very kindly given a goodie bag with lots of goodies from various vendors of the festival. So thank you so much for all the things that I got, and I wanted to go through them before I jump onto the things that I bought with my own money. And I have to say they've been very, very generous. The first thing I'm going to show are these minis that I got from various vendors of the festival, and I think they make for such a cute bunch. I think I'm going to make some sort of cushion, like maybe the Stella Quilt cushion or something like that, to kind of commemorate all these little minis that I got from the festival from the very kind vendors. So just talk about the different brands. This is Yarn Unique. It's a DK weight yak silk merino blend. I've actually purchased some yarn from this dyer before. She's very specialized in kind of like gemstone colors, and I really enjoyed that. This is a really lovely blue from Blue Fern Yarns, which also had a very, very lovely stall this year. I honestly, if it wasn't for the budget, I would have bought like a few yarns from them. I haven't because I was out of budget. This is Dina's Home of Crafts in this really lovely kind of yellow greenish cream beige. We've got a pair of minis from Castleview Yarns, which also has some really lovely colors. This came unbranded, but it's also a really lovely kind of emerald green color. And all of these, except the Yarn Unique, this blue one, all of these are sock yarn minis in 20-gram mini hanks of 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. So I think that'll be perfect for the Stella Quilt kit. Stella Quilt cushion. And next thing I got were these really generous full hanks of yarn. This is Folk Yarn, which is kind of, correct me if I'm wrong, the kind of official yarn brand for the Yarn Festival. Because you can get them at the welcome desk of the festival. The point of folk yarn is that it's like an East Anglian yarn. So this, for example, is the East Anglian blend that contains Romney, Blueface, Leicester, and Suffolk yarn. This is a fingering weight hank of 100 grams for 400 meters in this really lovely mustard yellow. I think I'm going to make a Oslo hat out of this, which I know is very unoriginal, but what can you do with one hank, I suppose, of like woolly wool? This is like a really sheepy wool as well. And then this is also a very generous gift because it's lace weight cashmere from this brand called Chromanema, which very kindly left a note for me saying, "Dear podcaster, lovely to see you at the show, Vic." She is a person who, I think the vendor specializes in the pattern type that kind of looks like origami. So it's like a chevron scarf that she had that kind of has pleats in it. And for knitwear, it's really unusual. She also dyes this contemplation, is what she calls yarn, where there's like a spot of indigo in the yarn in this very specific area. So it makes for like a very even spotting of indigo and whatever you knit this up with. I think this has, because it has so much meterage, it's got 650 meters for 50 grams because I think it's a cobweb weight, not even lace weight. So I'm going to hold it double and pair it with a cream colored fingering weight yarn to make another hat. Because I'm not big on shawls. I don't really want to knit a shawl. So I think a hat is the best way to go to make sure I use this up, and I think it will be super lovely with the spots of indigo in an otherwise cream hat. I also got this needle felting kit from Felt Wildly. It's a little cactus, and this needle minder from Patch Fabrics by Emma Schilling. A set of stitch markers with like a stitch marker holder ring here from All Wool That Ends Wool, which is very lovely. And I got this little pouch from this brand called Tea Cake and Make, and it's a really lovely concept. It's this pouch that has like this magnetic clasp, so you're definitely sure that nothing's gonna come out of there because it's a tight seal. But it's also got quite a wide bottom, so you could fit loads in there, I reckon. See? And it has this little hook, so you can, I assume, just like clasp it on your inside your bag or outside of your bag. So I think this will be perfect for traveling with my little notions with this. They gave me a tea bag, which is really sweet, and also a bunch of yarn-related stickers, which are super cute, and I'm definitely gonna put in my journal or something. I'm a sucker for stickers. And I got this set of little stitch markers from this brand called Troublemaker's Design. Not only do they do this kind of pick and mix stitch marker stall, but they also do 3D printed yarn balls, which had really interesting designs. They're really high quality 3D prints. My partner does a lot of 3D printing, and he was like, these are some good prints. These are some good print quality. So I trust his judgment on that. And the funniest thing with these stitch markers is that, well, first of all, they're so funny. Like this is a duck holding a rose. This is a puffer fish with googly eyes and a little scarf. And funnily enough, I got a little gyoza. And the funny thing is I make a lot of gyozas. And so the fact that I got this, I don't think they knew who I was when they made this selection of stitch markers. And the fact that I got this gyoza is like, it's such a cute coincidence. And I'm really happy with that. The festival itself also gave me some goodies, like this sticker, again, a sucker for stickers, and a pin badge for the East Anglia Yarn Festival. I think I'm going to put this on maybe on these tote bags. I think that would be really cute. Or my backpack, who knows. I forgot to say actually that the goodie bag came in one of these East Anglia Yarn Festival tote bags. And this is actually the one from last year. And since I already had one, I've already given away the new tote bag to the knitting friend that I was there with because she was thinking of getting a tote. So I was like, here you go, take my one. And then last but not least, the brand called Tom Dyson Woodworking was very, very generous with their gift in the goodie bag because they gifted me this yarn spindle thing. This is a really cool tool. Basically, I'm not going to assemble it here. You stab the whole thing through this hole and then you put your yarn here so that basically your yarn can then dangle from your wrist like this and not get all twisted. So you can kind of knit on the go. Or like you can hook this on, I don't know, like a car door hook thing in the car or on the plane, or for example. So this is a super useful tool, and I'm super happy that I got this. And they also very kindly gave me this little keychain with a wood button on it and these really lovely sheep stitch markers. These are so cute. And I also got this mini holly berry kind of gift bag set, so it comes with the pattern and just the right quantity of yarn that you need to make this little little thing that you can put on, I assume, your Christmas tree, which is really nice. I've been thinking about making my own Christmas tree decorations with yarn stuff, so this is perfect. Thank you so much to all the vendors for all these very, very generous gifts. I honestly wasn't expecting anything when I signed up as a free podcaster, so I'm really, really grateful for the Yarn Festival organizers who did such an amazing job, as well as the vendors for giving me such generous gifts, so thank you so much. Now, moving on to the things that I actually bought with my own money. So we did some damage. I am very happy with the stuff that I got. And let's talk through it. And also, can we talk about how cute the design for this year's festival kind of logo is? It's a sheep spinning wool wearing a jumper. It's so cute. Anyway, I got this really cute kind of bucket-shaped tote bag from the festival, because last year I got this really big one, which is perfect for kind of lugging around all my shopping and my big yarn projects, but I also wanted a kind of a medium size, and it's got like a kind of round bottom and a magnetic clasp at the top, so it's really perfect for lugging around my yarn projects or otherwise my shopping from the yarn festival. Anyway, let's go through the stuff that I got. The first thing I purchased was actually this one. This has been a discovery on this year's festival, this brand. It's called Through the Wardrobe. The lady, if I understood correctly, is English but lives in Norway and made the trip explicitly for this festival to sell her yarns, which are, first of all, really whimsical, really cutesy, very, very, very kind of ballet core vibe and like fantasy vibe, which I really enjoyed. And we spotted this corner of yarn on her table that was purely lace weight baby Suri extra fine merino and silk. But I mean, to the point where there's 1,200 meters of yarn in this hank alone. So it's actually, it felt like such a space saver and a bargain because you get a sweater's worth of lace weight yarn in just this one hank. And so with my friend, we were like, oh my goodness, this is like a fantastic idea. So we each got one of these lace weight hanks. She got a different color that was more creamy pink. And I got this really lovely lilac-y blue color. And it's called Cozy Crime Lace, the name of the yarn base. And it's got 50% baby Suri alpaca, 30% extra fine merino, and 20% silk. So the silk gives it a really nice shimmer, which I don't know if it's gonna catch on camera, but in real life it looks kind of like ethereal, also because there's a really lovely halo around the yarn. So I'm thinking of holding this with Knitting for Olive Unicorn Purple and making like a really basic like Monday sweater type thing. And I think it's gonna be right with the gauge. If it's not, I just kind of adjust with needle size / adjust with the garment size, and I think it'll be fine. And this is just the softest thing ever. I'm really, really happy with it. It looks so pretty. And then my next purchase was this stuff. So I've got 4 hanks of Eden Cottage yarn. This is a baby Suri alpaca lace. It's called Loather Lace in the colorway Robin Egg, which kind of looks like a uniform blue color, light blue color at first. But if you look at it closely, there's a bit of variegation in the dye, which gives it like slightly more depth and interest as well. And I always like looking at baby Suri alpaca and yarn festivals because they don't really sell industrial baby Suri alpacas in yarn stores. It's much more of a thing in the hand dyeing community. And so I was definitely keen on getting some baby Suri alpaca lace at the festival, and I'm really glad that I did. And I found this really lovely, lovely robin egg color from Eden Cottage Yarn. It was in this basket full of these pastel colored baby Suri alpaca. It was just like a bowl of fluff. It looked so nice. You just wanted to jump in there and just like have a nap in that bucket. It was so ethereal and fluffy and scrumptious. Oh, I love it. And I'm thinking of making, I've bought enough to make basically a cumulus blouse because I've got enough by holding double, I think. Yeah, the cumulus blouse pattern originally calls for 2 strands of mohair. Baby Suri tends to be a bit thicker than usual mohair. So this has like 300 meters per 50 grams. So it's definitely a bit thicker side for lace weight. So I think that's fine because either I get a bit more of a dense cumulus, which I've heard some people say that their cumulus blouse ended up being a bit too transparent if they use like 2 strands of mohair. So using a slightly kind of fatter lace weight yarn held double, I think will make up for that. Or I just size down to account for the fact that my gauge might be slightly bigger with this. But I think it will make for the best kind of interseasonal garment, and this color is just so lovely. I feel like I would be feeling like a princess when I wear this. I've actually been really wanting a light blue for a long time because I've got a lot of deep greens and blues, but I didn't really have anything kind of light blue like this. So I'm really glad that I found this and I got a sweater quantity of it. And then another great purchase from this year was from James Makes Yarn. And look at this. This is just a hank of joy. Look at all the colors. It's such a fun yarn. And the stall was just full of really beautiful pop colors like this. really intense colors. It might not be to everyone's taste, and it's definitely not the sort of color that I wear on a daily basis for my garments, but I think for socks, and this is what I intend to do with this, if you want to play around with really colorful yarns, I think socks are a way to go. Socks or mittens, for example. So this is the colorway called Tamagotchi, and I love that because I grew up playing Tamagotchis as well. And I'm gonna make, yeah, a pair of socks out of these, and I think they're gonna be the funkiest socks ever. So James Makes Yarn specializes in hand dyeing technique that makes sure that you essentially get like an even speckle of a rainbow of colors whenever you knit something up. So he tries to make sure that you avoid any kind of color pooling with any of his hand dyed yarns, which I think is like such a great attention to detail, because that's the aesthetic that he wants to kind of create with his yarns. So this was a really wonderful find. I've been following him on Instagram since the last yarn festival, and I feel like ever since the festival from last year, he's done like such a great like mix of colors in his tinkering in his color lab. So I was really glad to see him at the stall this year and grab this color, which I think is one of his more latest color creations as well. So super excited to get a really funky pair of socks out of these. And then speaking of socks, we were at the Camel's Yarn, which is one of my favorite hand dyers, and I was not too sure about buying a sweater quantity of Camel's Yarn this year because the selection of yarn that she had was all the colors from the yarn advent that I had gotten as Christmas, and there wasn't one particular color that I enjoyed enough to have it as a sweater quantity. So I was pretty sure I wasn't going to get a certain quantity of yarn out of the Camel's Yarn, but I was looking around anyway because her creations are absolutely gorgeous. And my partner spotted a pair of socks that was knitted in this colorway, and he was like, "Can you actually knit that for me?" And I was like, "Are you sure you're not just saying that because like you want me to have the joy of buying yarn from the Camel's Yarn?" And he was like, "No, I'd like a pair of socks from these, please." So I thought that was so sweet. And he was such a good sport yesterday for walking around with us and driving us and dealing with all of our, shopping frenzy. And he didn't once complain. So I think he definitely deserves a pair of socks knitted from one of the yarns at the festival. So this is Camel's Yarn Blue Face Leicester Twist Sock Yarn. And so it's 80% British Blue Face Leicester blended with 20% nylon. And so you get 365 meters for 100 grams. It's a fingering weight, just a regular sock yarn. And it's color by Salt and Sea. So it's such a really wonderful grey with this fun speckles of black and kind of grayish khaki, which I don't know if it's showing on camera, but in a sock it was really beautiful, and I think that's what attracted my partner to this color. So this is my purchase from the Camel's Yarn. So I also got these really adorable stitch markers that are made of porcelain that are hand painted. So this is a little flower and this is a little duck, or chick rather, and it's from this brand called Buttoned Up, handmade porcelains buttons by Buttoned Up, and they're on Etsy as well. And then last but not least, I also bought some needles. So there's this shop, I'll remember the name, I'll put the name on the screen. It's in the corner of the festival, and it's great because it's got basically all of the Knit Pro needles. So if you just need any of the needle tips or circular needles or interchangeable cables, that's where you go. And I think it's a great idea to have that in the yarn festival because you might come and then get something and you might not have the right needles for it to start a project, so you just buy them from that shop that's conveniently placed in the festival. And so I just bought these to make sure that I had metal needles to do the Cumulus blouse. So I actually already have a Cumulus blouse on my needles, and the problem that I have with that one, and the reason why I'm not making any progress, is because I'm knitting it with wooden needles, and I find that if you've got two strands of fluff yarn, it's quite difficult to make them glide on wooden needles, and I've been told that metal needles are the way to go for that. So I bought 5mm, which is what I'm originally using, but I'm worried that my gauge will therefore change and become a bit tighter because things will go much smoother. So I also bought 4.5 just in case. I always need needles. You know, there's no needles that goes unused in my collection, so it's always good to have these. And yeah, very smart business to have that in the yarn festival as well. Very useful. So that concludes my yarn shopping. And so I just wanted to reiterate that it was so lovely of the festival to have me as an official podcaster, and I hope you enjoyed this festival vlog and yarn haul. And if you're excited to see all the things that I'm gonna be knitting with all this stuff, then make sure you give my channel a subscribe and give this video a like to support me. It was a great time, and thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you at the next time.